All right, this kind of video has been requested for by quite a bit of you. There's been a lot of questions of what's my opinion of this person or this wrestler or this superstar. How do I feel about this? And I've answered most of you. I've gotten to most of the comments in most of the recent videos, but I have said that I am going to make an overall video, 2 videos. I'm going to split this into. I'm going to today go down every single superstar on the SmackDown roster. I'm going to go through, give my first impression that I've gotten, from the first time I've seen them, and what that impression may have turned into now, maybe something I like about them or don't like about them. Some of you might know me from this video. I am a new WWE fan. I've been watching for about a year now, so really the purpose of this is not to evaluate or grade any of these superstars. I am merely here to tell you what impression I have gotten from them so far, if I've seen them, so what their first impression might be here in 2024, and what that perception may have changed to since the first time I've seen them to now. This is purely going off of the SmackDown roster according to the website. This looks like it has been updated since the draft, so let's just start from the top. AJ Styles. Some of you already know my answer to this one because I've mentioned it in the Backlash video, but for me, when I first started watching him and I first started seeing him earlier in the year, I didn't really get him too much. I only caught him in little promos here and there, but if you really pay attention to how little he's being used in the first year, my exposure to him has been very, very minimal. Now that I've gotten to see him perform in a situation like Backlash, in a big situation against Cody, in that match, he completely won me over. That was really exciting. I don't love his new song. I like his old entrance theme. Maybe the new one will grow on me, but I thought his old one was pretty cool. I like his entrance with the gloves and all that. Overall, I think he's cool. I wish he was a little younger so I could feel like I could see him for more years. So it sounds like I'm getting him on the tail end of his career, but I have a feeling a lot of the matches that you guys are going to suggest on my Patreon some of them are going to involve him, which, by the way, if you're not already on the Patreon, check that out. Over there, we do watch old matches that you guys submit, classic matches that I'm watching for the first time. So you guys get to suggest them, and then I get to watch them for the first time, and it's kind of a little watch along. So if that's something you want to see, there is a free version over there as well as a paid one. So if you want to check out the free version of it first and decide from there, you're welcome to do that. Next up is Andrade. Very small sample size with him, but the little that I've seen, the gimmick is pretty cool. I like the mask and everything he wears. The first time I saw him, I believe, would have had to been at the Royal Rumble. Didn't know who he was, so didn't really have much of an impression at all. But I've gotten to see him in person now. I'll go into a few shows, and for his size, for his bulk, I'm kind of surprised that he is as aerial and mobile as he is. So he's pretty impressive. I feel like I'm going to end up liking him. Okay, next up is just Angel. Now, some of these I'm going to group together because it just makes sense instead of repeating myself as we go. But I have really struggled to buy in to the LWO. There's a running joke in my group that I watch it with. I call them the NPCs instead of the LWO, because for me, they all feel so interchangeable. Like, I don't see much personality in their characters, their storylines. I don't really buy into. I don't find them that interesting. There's been a couple that have kind of, gotten away from the pack and have stuck out to me a little bit more. We'll get to them, but I don't really have any positive feelings about Angel, but I guess it's not really a negative feeling. I just don't care. Next up is Angelo Dawkins. I'm going to group him with Montez Ford because that's how I typically always see them, is together. They are a tag team that I'm a big fan of. I love them together. I think they're hilarious. My first impression of them, I think the first time I got to see them that I remember, I believe they were in the first WrestleMania 39 that I watched. I don't remember specifically, but I always feel like I can picture Montez Ford flying like 15 feet in the air on a splash. And I actually really enjoyed their match at WrestleMania 40. I guess some people didn't really care for it, but it was like an Extreme Rules kind of Philadelphia street fight, and I liked them a lot. So, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, big thumbs up for me. Oh, and their song, their entrance, I love it. Where they have like the cup, they get in the ring together. I love their vibe. Top to bottom, I love those two. Street Profits are awesome. Apollo Crews, I have such a small sample size of this guy. I've only seen him in person. I don't think I've seen televised matches. Maybe I have, and they were quick ones, but he was a dark match for 2 different shows that I've gone to where he just went in there to lose against somebody. So I don't have a huge opinion of him. I haven't really gotten to see too much other than him just be put in dark matches to lose. So He seems cool. Next up is Ashante Adonis. I've never heard of him in my life. Austin Theory. Man, it is crazy to think that the first match that I have ever watched, like all the way through, was John Cena versus Austin Theory. So the fact that he is attached to that memory for me is hilarious. It took me some time to start to like him. I think it just took me a little bit of time to really appreciate the heel persona in general. But his is just so funny. I mean, I think he had a promo leading up to Elimination Chamber where he got bored of listening to, it might have been Seth Rollins talk, and he's just sitting there counting his abs like for fun, like he was just bored counting his own abs. Just something about his just way over cocky persona. I really like it. I'm hoping they do a little bit more with him now that he's got a tag title, and I feel like he kind of got left behind a little bit after he lost the US title, but you know, him and Grayson have been pretty cool together. Baron Corbin. All I know about Baron Corbin is the little bit I've seen on, I want to say it was on Raw. It could have been SmackDown. I don't remember, but he was just taking squash matches. The first few times I had seen him, he'd lose literally in the first 15 seconds, maybe. And I have heard that he has gone back to NXT and kind of done a good job of building himself back up. I think I saw that he was tagging with Braun Breaker, so good for him. If it's true, if he's kind of, you know, been built back up into a more interesting character, I am looking forward to seeing him on SmackDown. Bayley's my favorite. I thought it was a tie before between her and Rhea, but I really think Bayley's story of coming out of Damage Control and being shunned away from the group and turning back. I loved her promos leading up to it where she called out Io. She was expected to call out Rhea after winning the Rumble. I was so happy for her when she won the Rumble. I feel like feels like she's so easy to root for. She just seems really sweet. She seems really cool. I did get to have a picture with her. I got a quick selfie with her during the SmackDown that we went to, but she seems really personable. I feel like it's really easy to look at her and feel happy for her when she's finding success. So I'm glad that she's kind of taken on a face persona now. I've been rooting for her to have a face turn since I started watching her. I love her old theme, the one with the inflatable tube men. Her last one was fine. Her new one, I don't really love. I don't love the new like role model entrance. Maybe it'll grow on me. It's taken me a second. I don't love it. And I also don't love the rose plant. So this should tell you that it's not just about that stuff for me. I really like her just as a character, and she seems like a great worker. So it's, man, for her to be my favorite and I don't love her finisher or her current entrance, I feel like that should tell you a lot that I'm a pretty big fan of her just in general. Bianca Belair, the EST. If there is anyone who, like, there's not many as good as her when it comes to just having like the persona of a champion. Like, I just believe that she's like the face of the company. You know, she carries herself in such a way. She truly is the EST. She carries herself in a way that she feels like she's the best. She's, you know, the one that's going to have the title soon. It feels like, anyway. It always feels like she's about to, even though she's really not in that picture. Now that she just won the tag title, she's probably going to be working with that for a while. I love her entrance. Her entrance theme is such a bop. I feel like I want to dance to it every time it comes on. It's fun to sing to, and she has a cool finisher, the KOD. I don't know what it stands for. Kiss of Death, maybe? I don't know, but it flips him over. You know who's really good at selling that move? Bayley. I saw Bayley take that finisher like leading up to like WrestleMania and Rumble and stuff like that, and it was a great combo. Bianca Belair, love her. Blair Davenport, I don't know much about her. I know that she's a heel character on NXT. Haven't really seen her because I haven't watched much NXT, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. Bobby Lashley. Dude has shoulders on his shoulders. Dude is built like a machine. I'm constantly rooting for him, and I feel like I haven't gotten satisfied with that yet. I have been waiting and wanting to see him catch a victory, see him really like win something of substance. And I think he got injured last year. I remember he had like a cut on his head. It was going in some sort of a tournament. I don't remember what exactly it was for, but he was out for a while. So I'm hoping that him forming the Pride, oh nice, one Pride, forming the Pride with the Street Profits, I'm hoping that leads to more opportunity for him, because I love watching him. His theme is great. When he does a spear, it feels beefy. I love him. Candice LeRae, I know very, very little about. The most I've seen her was when she's just recently gotten into, she's kind of going heel with Indy Hartwell, and she's kind of, the most noticeable thing she did for me was when she had that moment in the ring with Maxine Dupree that you know, calling out, like bringing up her brother and just getting all personal, saying that everybody hates Maxine. So, I mean, she really wasn't even on my radar until that. That's all I really know about her right now. But it seems like this heel persona could be something that the women's tag division could use. So I'm for it. Carmelo Hayes. Don't know a ton about him because, again, that's someone coming up from NXT. I did get to see his match against Cody. They had a weird finish where they both kind of went for some springboard mid-rope something and it missed. And then I also saw him in a match. I want to say it was Austin Theory, and that's when Austin Theory got hurt as well. So I don't know a ton about him. I only have those 2 matches, and if those are my only 2 matches to pull from him, the impression is not great. But there's been enough positive just word about him that I am totally willing to just kind of push those aside and, you know, give him a chance. He does look like someone who kind of has that personality where he's going to have that little bit of a cocky attitude, which I think can be really fun in the WWE. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of him. Chelsea Green is up next, and it's a crime that she's going to SmackDown, by the way, because not getting that intro from Samantha Irvin anymore that's just not fair. That's not fair to the fans and her, frankly. But I love Chelsea Green. I think she's fantastic. I think she's really good at playing whatever that character is, this stuck-up snot. She's like Tiffany Stratton if Tiffany Stratton wasn't a good wrestler. And I don't mean like a good wrestler as in like she's a bad performer. She's an excellent performer wrestler, but her character is that she kind of sucks, you know, like she runs away from people when she's scared. She cowers a lot in the ring. Like, you know, her character is what I'm talking about. I love her. I think her song is really good. I like her with Piper. I love Chelsea Green. Cody Rhodes is an easy one. Love Cody Rhodes. Love the entrance. Love the story. Thankfully, I was able to watch his documentary way before, you know, it got into WrestleMania season. So watching the documentary on Peacock about Cody Rhodes really gave me the opportunity to learn his history and learn why I wanted him to win that title. Getting to see his upbringing and the stuff about his dad and how much everybody in the company loves his dad really helped sell that for me. And love Cody Rhodes. I've gotten selfies with him on 2 separate occasions. He held my phone, took a picture. Guy's really cool at the end of shows. So if you ever get floor seats at a show that he's at and he closes out the show, hang out by the barricade because he walks all the way around, takes pictures, signs stuff. Seems like a great guy. Dragon Lee, don't have a lot to say about him. I do think he is fantastic in the ring. In terms of character, I have no idea. I haven't seen much. It seems like he's just kind of involved in the LWO stuff a little bit. But in terms of in the ring, dude seems like a monster. Seems super fun to watch. High flyer, doing fancy tricks and stuff. All in on seeing Dragon Lee do more. Yes, boy. Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. I'm going to group them together for obvious reasons. I really didn't think I was going to like them. If I'm being honest, I thought this was going to be a weird comedy act, but turns out I like the comedy acts in WWE. I think they're really entertaining. So those two get a massive thumbs up for me. Their entrance, their theme, the disco ball, the fact that the disco ball isn't in WWE 2K24, also a crime. But those two are hilarious. I feel like they are just great for just filling out a spot in a storyline and, you know, hashtag Elton Strong. Giovanni Vinci. The one good thing about him not being on the Raw roster is that I can comfortably talk about him not related to Imperium because he got booted out. I'm a little worried about him. I feel like that was going to be the only thing. Imperium was going to be the only thing that kind of kept him relevant. But I kind of like the guy. I feel like when he had some matches, I feel like when he's just in the ring, I think he's solid. So I'm guessing he doesn't have a lot to say on the mic. So I'm a little worried that he's just going to kind of get lost and just kind of be some dark match pre-show fodder. I hope that's not the case. I don't really know where he would fit in any other faction or anything like that, but I doubt he's going to get much of a singles opportunity when it comes to SmackDown, especially with SmackDown being the smaller show. But, you know, I liked Baldy. I thought he was kind of cool. I didn't, you know, he wasn't one of my favorites or anything, but I thought he was a good piece of Imperium. So I hope he does well without him. Grayson Waller. I did not rope him in with Austin Theory like I have been with other tag teams because Grayson Waller, I thought for sure I was going to hate this guy. I hated when I was watching the show and I would see, oh, the Grayson Waller effect is coming up. I was so bummed every time I would see that. And after maybe the 3rd or 4th time, for whatever reason, it started to grow on me. Something always happening during the show, but something about his attitude, calling out the crowd, someone coming out there and taking him out. After a while, I started to realize that whenever it was the Grayson Waller effect, it felt like something interesting was going to happen during it. Maybe not necessarily from him, and I also think him and Austin Theory, match made in heaven when it comes to tag partners, especially as champions. They're gonna be fun. Next up is Indy Hartwell, and I think she has the low-key one of the best entrance songs. If you haven't heard it, listen to Indy Hartwell's song. It just sounds like a good song. I've liked it. I've picked it in WWE 2K24 a few times for different characters that I made. I just like it. In terms of her, she seems fine. I haven't gotten to see her do a ton of matches. I'm looking forward to this progression with Candice LeRae. Seems like she's kind of bought into the heel decisions of Candice a little bit, so I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more from her, but I don't have a lot of history of her. I've only seen her just kind of thrown into women's group matches and not really gotten a huge opportunity to stand out. Jade Cargill, just a monster. Jade Cargill looks like a beast. I'm all in on her being tag partners with Bianca. She looks insanely cool. Like, she just looks so powerful. She looks like she's having fun now. It seems like she's kind of coming out of her shell a little bit. She's like high-fiving the crowd and stuff. I really like seeing that. It seems like she's having a good time. I've heard people say that she's gonna need some time to warm up in the ring. I don't know what her history is exactly with AEW. I know that's where she came from, but I think she's gonna be awesome. I love this like zesty pin that she does where she leans all the way back and puts her tongue out, her hands or nails and everything. It's such a cool, confident persona, and her and Bianca are just gonna tear it up. I hope they end up doing a really respectable tag run together. Oh, and her entrance is phenomenal. It's so cool in person too. Johnny Gargano and Gargano, and I'm gonna group him in with Tommaso Ciampa, and I can kind of answer for both of them at the same time because I feel pretty much identical. With Tommaso Ciampa, I didn't like him. I don't know what it was. I didn't care for him. When he was coming in, when he just came back, earlier in the year, whatever it was, I just didn't buy in on him. I didn't really care for him. It wasn't really anything he was saying. I just didn't believe I think he was coming after Gunther, and it just didn't buy it. It felt a little bit off. But that all turned around when Johnny Gargano came back and they formed a tag team. I like them as a tag team. I like both of them as a tag team. And I've been told by some of my buddies that some are just like that. Some just have a better fit as a tag team, and as a singles competitor, it can just feel a little bit off. So I felt a little bit validated with that. I don't dislike either of them, but I love the two of them together. I don't love their entrance theme, but damn, if "We Are" doesn't get stuck in my head once in a while, then I guess if that means it's good, maybe it's good because it gets stuck in my head. I don't know, but I don't love it. Kevin Owens. I really liked Kevin and Sammy, and I understand why that had to break up. They couldn't do that forever, but him and Sammy were part of the reason I got into wrestling in the first place. They had that tag match against the Usos at WrestleMania 39. Got to meet him. Really nice guy. It was cool that I told him a little something. I told him I just got into wrestling, and he actually inquired more on it. Like, he asked about it and he wanted to know exactly how I got into it. So it was cool that he actually felt like he was wanting to have a little bit of a conversation during the meet and greet. So that was kind of cool. Love his stunner, love his attitude, love that you just can't superplex him. I love his entrance. I think he's really cool. Like, that's honestly, he's probably up there in my top 10. Don't ask me what my top 10 is. I don't know. I bet I would throw 20 people in my top 10 if you asked me. So I'm not going to bother trying to make a top 10. LA Knight. Yeah. So I struggled with LA Knight for a while, and I think it's because I didn't get it. A lot of people seem like they love him because they've said that he gives them some nostalgia, reminds them of the Attitude Era, which I don't have that nostalgia for. I don't have that connection the way a lot of you do. It says that I've heard people say it reminds them of a combination of like The Rock and Stone Cold. Again, I don't have that connection, so he's pure face value for me. But it took me a while, but I did come around on him to the point where I do get excited to hear him. His mic work is what really draws me in. I love his theme. His moves are fine. He doesn't really excite me that much in the ring. It's one of those things where his match ends up being better because I care more about it due to the promo work leading up to it. And I'm looking forward to him eventually finally having a feud with the next person on the list, Logan Paul. Damn. I don't like Logan Paul, the person. There's a lot of reasons not to like Logan Paul, the person. I think it's totally valid, and I won't even blame anyone who says they can't like Logan Paul, the wrestler, because of Logan Paul, the person. But Logan Paul, the wrestler, is insanely good. Like, so it feels like he was kind of born for it. And I love all the behind the scenes stuff I've seen where it feels like he genuinely puts a lot of respect on the WWE. It seems like he really doesn't want to do it wrong, and he really wants to learn the craft from what I've seen from like the backstage stuff that they've shown. and stuff that I've seen off like on YouTube and that they posted to Twitter. But bringing in Logan Paul might be one of the better things the WWE has done in terms of something they could do to market and expand the product, because he's bringing a lot of eyes to the product that may not have otherwise done so, especially when he carries that championship around. So in terms of his movesets and his entrance, they're fine. It's really just the crazy stuff he's willing to do, and the feuds he gets into just feel like they have so much heat behind it. So LA Knight versus him seems like it's going to be phenomenal. Naomi, love her entrance. It's like a party. Got to see it in person. It's great. In the ring, she definitely has some spots I like. She does some cool stuff with like the splits that I think are just, it's cool. I don't feel like I see that a ton. I haven't gotten to see her do too much mic work, too much promo work, and the little I've seen leaves a little bit to desire. I don't love that too much, but I do think that she seems very fun. I think that she's very good when she's interacting with someone else who is good on the mic. So if that's how I'm going to enjoy her for now, if I'm going to enjoy her just being a part of something, I think she adds to it a lot in that way. But for me, that's kind of it right now. Man, Nia Jax is an example of someone I have come completely around on, because when she first came in, I think Rhea Ripley was definitely my number one over Bayley. And all I had heard at the time was that when she made her return was that she was kind of known for injuring people. And that's not what you want to hear when someone's coming back and targeting your favorite wrestler. And all I could think of was like, oh God, I don't want her to hurt Rhea. I don't want it. I'm not interested. And I kind of just completely shut the door mentally on Nia Jax. I have completely changed my mind. I have loved what she's done. And it's no secret, she doesn't look like all the other superstars, especially the other female superstars on the roster. And so the fact that she does the things that she does without hesitation, and she's throwing herself around, she's selling, she's taking these big spots that a lot of people just wouldn't in general, but usually it's reserved for the more like tiny and athletic superstars. So the fact that she's able to do that is, it gets all of my respect. I genuinely think that she's one of the better returns that have happened this year since I've been watching. Her heel character is so easy to dislike in a, like in a good way, in the way that we don't like Dom. Like Dom Mysterio, the person we like, Dom Mysterio, the character we hate. And it's really fun to hate her character, because her as a person is hilarious. By the way, if you're not following her on TikTok, you should follow Nia Jax on TikTok. She is nothing like her character when she's on TikTok. She's doing all these funny dances with the other superstars backstage. It's very cool to see them behind the scenes, like interacting with a heel like this in such a fun way. So highly recommend that. Piper Niven, also one I didn't really know how to feel for a while. I was a little bit sad when like Sonya Deville got injured and Chelsea Green lost her tag partner. And it didn't feel like it was going to work with Chelsea and Piper as a tag team a while back. It felt a little bit like Piper was too much in the, like, I'm the hard ass, like I'm going to do this, and you're just going to be the ditzy, like diva or whatever. And it seems like over time, Piper's character has kind of developed a little bit to kind of be a little bit more like Chelsea, to make it so they fit a little bit better. Just go back and watch the old entrances of them first being a team. It's a very different vibe. Now it feels more like they walk out together. So I like that she's adapted her character to kind of fit the situation, since it's definitely not, it wasn't, I don't think it was going to work with her being the solo Piper Niven, but I like her. I don't remember what her song is actually. I think I've heard it when she was like Dewdrop in the game, but I feel like I've only seen her walk out with Chelsea now that I think about it. Randy Orton, why didn't you come out when I was at the Raw where Cody said, oh, you're hearing voices inside your head, when he was revealing to Judgment Day that Randy was going to be coming back? I was there. I was in like the 5th row. I was so excited. And then the show ended. All he did was say that Randy was coming, and then he ended up showing up at Survivor Series. But that would have been cool. Randy's awesome though. Dude's a beast. Dude is meaty. Like, I've seen some old clips of him. He's a little bit scrawnier. This dude came back just completely jacked. I don't know if he's like always trying to sell that he has just broken his back. Maybe he's doing it on every time he lands on his back, so that you never really know when he's actually hurting his back. But dude, be careful. I don't want to see this guy get hurt again. I love it. I feel like every time he goes out there, his presence just makes a match better. His theme is top tier. The RKO is top tier. The like off the rope DDT thing, that's sick. I love he does like the yell and then drop. It's fantastic. Love Randy Orton. Santos Escobar, totally switched up on him as well. He kind of blended too much with the LWO, and I wasn't feeling most of that group in general, but him as a heel, I feel like has really worked. It's helped him stand out, and I've actually become a fan of him. His song is okay. I don't love the promos that he's done that are like movie cutscenes, him in a restaurant or something. Don't love that in particular. Some of them kind of work, but I kind of like the more like backstage or in the ring types of promos. But in general, I've come around on Santos. I like him. I don't love him yet, but I'm way more, excited. I shouldn't even say excited, but I'm way more open to when he comes out and continues a storyline or starts something than I was before. Shinsuke Nakamura, man, over on the Patreon, we just recently watched him versus Sami Zayn in NXT TakeOver. It was when Shinsuke was making his debut, and honestly, that showed me in a different light. I haven't gotten to see him do a ton of great work, I think, since I've been watching him. I shouldn't say that, he's done great work, but I haven't gotten to see him have a winning streak of any sort or have any sort of a push. He's done well in, I think he did like the last man standing against Seth. That was cool. He had a little bit of a feud with Cody. That was fun. But now he just seems like he's going in matches to lose, which kind of sucks. I'm hoping maybe I get to see a little bit of another stretch for him in the near future, but his song is awesome. It's fun to sing along to, but man, the strobe lights in person for a Shinsuke entrance, dude, I don't know if I could handle it. Like my eyes, like it's so flashy and so bright. It's almost too much for me, but love the guy, love the Kinshasa. Cool. Solo Sikoa, total background character until recently. I have immediately bought into what he's been doing right now. His entrance theme is kind of cool. The spike is fine. I just think he does this like thumb thing backstage too much, like he's actually wielding a weapon. I think that part's a little, I don't love that. I feel like you're doing too much with that. But the spike itself, when he uses it, it's fine. It's cool. I like when he gets very yelly when he's in the ring. I am looking forward to seeing this Bloodline 2.0 thing for him. I think I was starting to dislike him because it always felt like he was the one interrupting matches and kind of ruining them a little bit, and it was getting old. But this new era, I am open to seeing what he can do. Tegan Nox, I feel like I was rooting for Tegan Nox for a little while, and then she started tag teaming with Natalya, and then I feel like she kind of faded a little bit. Like her entrance song is fun. I don't really know any of her moves, but her look is great. I love all the colors. She's very bright, easy to pick out of a crowd. But I feel like she just kind of disappeared. I don't feel like I remember last time she's been on TV. Maybe she was thrown into a group match that I'm just not remembering. But yeah, I've kind of miss her a little bit. Tiffany Stratton, it's definitely going to be Tiffy time soon. And I say that both excited and bummed that means it's probably going to mean that she's going to be the one to beat Bayley, which from what I've seen from Tiffany, I would be okay with it. That would be someone I would be fine with seeing Bayley lose to. Tiffany Stratton, I never disliked her, but my first real exposure to her was at Elimination Chamber in Perth. Immediately won me over. So physical, so athletic, the attitude, the character, the outfits, the theme, the finisher, the prettiest moonsault ever is fantastic. She is going to be a superstar in this business for an extremely long time. She has so much ahead of her, and I'm very excited to get, that's someone I'm very happy I'm getting in on the ground floor of. And according to their website, that's it for SmackDown. So if you're interested in seeing the Raw one, let me know below. Like the video, make sure you subscribe. Thank you to all the patrons that have gone over to the Patreon, have been supporting that way. I appreciate you guys. Feel free to give me any sort of feedback on any individual of these opinions. I'm down to talk about it in the comments. I don't know when I'm gonna make the Raw one, but it should be in the fairly near future. I know that one's gonna be longer than this one because that roster is much bigger. But once again, thank you so much for your time. I will see you all in the next one.